What is going on, everyone? Tim from Tirfon Orbital. So today's demo video is going to be for an install I completed for a customer on an 89Sabers Fallen Apex. This is essentially, it's almost like a Cal Kestis themed hilt or a Fallen like scrap variant. When 89Sabers announced this hilt, there's another variant of this as well. I actually really liked the look of this hilt. I like the form factor. It's pretty small. It looks really good. And upon tearing it down to do the install, I noticed some really interesting things about this hilt and things that I've noticed about 89Sabers hilts in general. A lot of design and engineering goes into 89's hilts. I was very surprised at the level of detail and consideration they went to when designing specifically this upper Graflex section. This Graflex section has an entire core in it that is basically designed to work around one of their Profi board cores, but they've also designed it for installers, right? There's a lot of channels and grooves in that upper core section that allow for utilization of not only the side button, but the red button. So if you want to get a removable chassis in here to utilize these upper buttons, you can. If you don't want to do that, there are also plungers here. Now, I'm assuming that these plungers were a locking mechanism for 89Sabers proprietary core. However, they can also be used as switches, and that is what we did in this particular install. I didn't want to utilize the upper section of the Graflex because we needed that room for the giant crystal chamber that is in this, right? This is a hybrid install, so there are brass and MJF nylon parts in this. And we are going to talk about that right now when we come into Fusion. Come along with me. All right, so here it is. This is the chassis for the 89Sabers Fallen Apex. So the customer for this particular install wanted a hybrid reveal crystal chamber chassis. I knew that it was going to be a little tricky given the space inside of this hilt. It is a smaller hilt. And again, we have to think about the switches and all of that, right? So we decided to compromise and go with a smaller battery. This has an 18350 battery in it and a giant full brass upper crystal chamber, right? There's a lot going on brass-wise for this upper crystal chamber, but I also wanted to get something down below. Something that I've been doing a lot of lately with my designs is getting or incorporating more brass around the battery compartment. Typically, I do a battery cover, but I want to try and switch things up. And this has two brass ribs on each side of the battery, right? So we get some more brass down below. 28mm speaker here. Here's our battery compartment. Kill switch is up top, or in the middle of the chassis, rather. This is a Profi board build. So the Profi board will slide up underneath this lip and pull forward into these two forks. And then we've got the giant crystal chamber up top. This is a lot of brass. All right, the entire thing has been done in cast brass. I do have my switches up top. There are two red button switches right here that will make a connection to those spring plungers in the waist section of the hilt. And I also added some extra rectangular LEDs. And that is it. Nice, short, but sweet hybrid chassis for the Apex from 89Sabers. Let's come up top. All right, so here it is, the 89Sabers Fallen Apex. Again, I think this is an awesome looking hilt. It's got touches of a Graflex, obviously, but it does have Cal's grip in the lower section. So it looks like something from Jedi Fallen Order. It looks really cool. I would have one of these in my collection. I really like the form factor. I think it is a very unique looking hilt. The customer did have a request for some heat staining around the emitter. So I did have to disassemble this entire upper section to do that. I just love the detail in this as well, right? The 89Sabers has put some brass, or they've essentially cut down through that chrome plating to show brass. So we've got some brass rings here. It's just a really good looking hilt, right? And a lot of really nice design went into this hilt as well. As I mentioned, this entire upper core is designed in such a way that you can utilize this red button and this side button if you want to. And that is not easy to do that, by the way. I've tried it. It's a pain in the butt. So anyhow, so that's it. Let's get at this chassis to get it.
Good to go.
Whoops. There's already a battery in this. So to get at your chassis, just go ahead and unthread your grip. Okay. Here is the chassis. So the chassis was done in MJF nylon and brass. All of the brass has been weathered. We've got those 2 rectangular LEDs that are lit as well. Okay. And there is also a real quartz point in here for some shine through, obviously, and it is lit from below with 1 single neopixel. Okay. There's that chassis. Ribs around the battery compartment. Okay, so this will take a button top 18350. Usually I use the flat tops, but I need to get away from that, right? I need to start using the button tops. I prefer the button tops anyhow. Button top 18350. You go ahead and put your battery in. Then you want to line up these switches with these side buttons on the waist section of the hilt. Okay, it's going to kind of slide in and find its home. It will also help to clock the chassis, and then go ahead and thread your grip in place till it stops, and you're ready to go. Okay. So to you, the customer, you did have a request for some fonts. I was able to put those onto your config for you. Okay. Side button. So this is your aux button. If you're looking at the hilt, this right button is your aux. This left button is your main. Okay. Oops. And that is it. That is the apex. Let's come down to the bottom. I'll put a blade in it. All right. So there it is again, with that heat staining in the emitter. It's a great feeling hilt. I like a small form factor hilt. Great sounding hilt. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a blade in it. Okay, so this will take a 1-inch blade. The flathead screw around front will serve as your blade retention. So you want to get it past these bunny ears. Okay. Very tight blade socket. Super tight blade socket. Once your blade is in, you can tighten that flathead screw, and you are ready to go. Great sounding hilt. Okay. And you, of course, get some shine through in that glass eye. You don't see it right now because of that blade style. Let's try another blade style. There we go. So there's that glass eye shine through. Okay. We'll go ahead and scroll through a couple fonts. Okay. See what else we got. Whoops. Yeah, essentially, to you, the customer, you wanted all of Kyberphonic's Fallen blade styles and sound fonts, so that is what we put on this for you. You also wanted a couple of others. Okay. Great sounding hilt. I really like this hilt. It feels good. Like it feels good in hand, right? We'll do one more.
Indigo.
Awesome. Really cool feeling hilt. I know I said that like a dozen times already. All right, one more time. There's that glass eye in the front. Okay. And that is it. That is the Fallen Apex from 89Sabers. So one thing I do also want to mention, this is a very, very tight blade socket. All right. When taking out your blade, this upper Graflex section is going to want to unthread. You don't really want to do that. You want to keep this upper section threaded on, essentially, is what I'm saying, right? So just keep that in mind when putting your blade in and out of the hilt, right? But other than that, to you, the customer, thank you very much for your patience and support. If anyone has any questions about this particular hilt or anything really, please do not be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.